All right, guys. Well, let's bring it in. I appreciate you all joining us live here in the classroom and the many folks that are watching on Zoom today. You got a pretty good audience. It's going to get up to probably 30 easily. Awesome. So get ready. It's going to be great. I'm going to have Amber jump on screen here, and she's going to go ahead and brag on you just a little bit. All so right. Don't blush.
I've been waiting for this.
So I have to share a little bit of our back history, and I don't even know if Tony will remember this. One of the first, I don't know, maybe year and a half in real estate, I asked Tony if we could come and watch his admin team. And at the time he said, we never let anyone do this. And yes, you can come. And so first of all, always grateful for that. And then the second thing is, I think the second listing that I ever had was with one of Tony's buyer's agents, and man, it was a bumpy ending. And I remember Tony hopping in and being involved, and even though it was contentious between the two parties, you know, he was a great teacher to me at the time, a great confidant and colleague, and just always have watched him because we probably live about 10 minutes from each other in Tampa Bay. And Tony has grown his team over the years, and he has an amazing group of powerful agents. And I've just watched him in awe go from 100, 200, 300, 400 deals a year, all the while he coaches his son's baseball team. I don't know if he is currently, yet a family man. His wife, Kelly, is an absolute gem. They took us one time to the theater, Jared and I, just to say, hey, it looks like we're going to be kind of top people in this arena together in the same city. Let's be friends and grow together. And just have always been grateful. He's been interviewed by Gary Keller. He is a MAPS coaching client. He runs a true specialist model with listing agents, buyer's agents, and ISA department. And I'm super excited to hear because he will brag on himself later, probably more humbly. He has thousands of online 5-star reviews. He lives by the promise, which brings in lots of referrals to the team. And overall, he is an absolutely amazing human being. So Tony, thank you so much for taking time to join us in Marco Island. And our Naples friends are online. There's over 20 people online. So we are so grateful to have you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, what a...
Welcome, Tony.
I'm glad that's recorded.
She said all that about you.
No, thank you, Amber. That means a lot. And I don't remember those couple of things that you talked about, but I'm glad you do. And thanks for having me, guys.
I'm gonna actually get out of your hair because this is your show. I just had a question for Amber. So who's leading right now? Or is your team leading, or
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Since you're in the same marketplace.
Listen, we are eating Tony's dust with grace. With grace, we are eating his dust.
Gotcha. Let me get that for you. I gotcha. All right, guys. Thank you, Amber. All right. Let me get this out of your way here, and the show is yours, my friend.
Good thing you're here.
I know, that's,
we'll figure this out.
Yeah, I got you, brother. Yeah. All right, just the down and up arrows. Yep.
Cool.
Eventually.
Awesome. All right.
Left and right.
So thanks for having me, guys. So what we're going to go over today is how I built my business. So some of the things you hear, you might be like, yeah, that's not for me. And that's okay. That's what's great about real estate. There's a million ways to do it, right? But I'm going to go over how I've done it. I've been in real estate since 2005, approaching 18 years now. It's hard to believe. And it's been a crazy journey. Does anyone know what happened in like 07, 08? What happened then? Who was in business then? Anyone? Okay. You remember, right? So that was an interesting market. I think we should talk a little bit later today about the shifting market, what to prepare for that. Straight from Gary Keller's lips from 2 weeks ago. So I'll share some information on that. But really the make it a ring with the 3 R's, right? So the first thing is relationships. The second is going to be reviews. And last but not least, my favorite, which is referrals. Okay. here's some of our resume. I am in Gary's top agent group, so I get to have Gary as a mentor, which has been fantastic. I've been doing that since about 2018. That was a really big goal of mine to get into his group. And that has been an awesome experience to be able to mastermind with Gary, hear directly from the man himself on all his projections, and his way of thinking, I think, is the biggest thing about Gary that a lot of people may not know. Is just he has such a big heart, and he really loves to teach. He's a teacher. That's basically what his background is. In our market, we're #1 listing team, #1 for sales volume, units sold. And for the state, I think we need to update this, but I think number 13 for large teams. I don't think we're a large team. We have about 18 to 20 people. And our model is very different. So we have about half support and half sales. So it's a little different than a lot of teams. The reason we do it that way is I was on a team, and the only reason I left that team is I felt like I could no longer grow within that team. And at the time, that was so frustrating for me because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to do this by myself. I didn't want to have to figure all this stuff out. And at the end of the day, I decided to start my own team in 2010 and started on that journey. Out of the whole time I've been in real estate, I've been on my own as a solo agent for 3 months total. So I'm very team oriented. I love the team concept. And the agents on my team, I really wanted them to grow as big as they want to go. So got one agent on my team that sold 131 listings. All of them were listings last year. His name is Craig. We built a lot of leverage around him. And then Kate is our lead buyer specialist. She sold 130 homes last year. And she has a lot of support around her. She does the showing model. So we can get into that later too, if you all want to talk about that. We're also in expansion. So if you see, we cover the coast to coast of Central Florida. We really go as far south now to Fort Myers. And as far east, we just opened our office in Daytona Beach, expansion office that is. We have another office in Orlando. We cover all of Tampa Bay and all the way up to about Ocala. So if we can service you, you let us know. If we don't service the area, we'll definitely let you know that we don't, and we'll put you in touch with whoever we feel would be the best fit for you guys. So if I can be of service, let me know. So let's get shy admit people as we get them in.
Don't worry about it. We will take care of it.
Okay. I got that one. Oh, why this is not.
You want to take it? Let me do this.
Sorry.
I want to make your life easier. It goes to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Is what I probably did. Yeah, weird, right? So let's do this. I want to make this easier. I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to take control, and I'm going to do the PowerPoint for you.
Okay.
Works, yeah, that makes
That's fine.
yeah. I want to make Jordis Reyes, that handsome guy on screen, the host. And I will share the presentation.
Which guy?
The bald one on screen there. Pretty cool guy.
Don't stretch it, Jordis. Don't stretch it.
Yeah.
I kind of know.
Go in.
I kind of know a little bit. One second, guys.
So this other guy on screen, Mike Malcolm, he's my director of expansion. A lot of the times we teach this together and I grab the wrong presentation. So he's the one on the front cover. You're like, who's Mike? Mike's our director of expansion. He actually leads our Orlando office as well. Great guy, good friend, known him a long time. So the 3 R's: relationships, reviews, referrals. We'll go to the next one. So what I try to do, and a lot of this is self-talk, right? So this is just my thoughts on certain things, but you know, relationships, I really try to not be the agent that is walking up, hey, my name's Tony, I buy, sell, invest in real estate, do you need my help, right? I really try not to be that guy. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that it turns people off pretty fast, right? You can't really build a relationship until you know each other, right? You need to get to know one another. There's that thing called time, right? It's spelled T-I-M-E. That's Another word for love, you got to spend time together, build that relationship in order to begin that relationship, right? So that's just my thoughts on it, and how do you meet more people, right? And the more people you meet, the goal is where you get in the top 3, where you're top of mind when it comes to real estate. You can find that out pretty fast when people start asking real estate questions, right? And then, what do you think about the real estate market? Because you should be inside like, yes, because that's really the goal. You want to be a resource for other people. You want to be able to help them answer their questions when it comes to real estate. And that's really all you can ask for. You know, I can tell you there's people I've been in a relationship with, they use another agent, and I'm completely cool with that, because at the end of the day, if they're sending me referrals, that's the goal, right? So I always say, if they're loyal to their agent because their agent's awesome, I love that, right? I love loyalty. But I'll tell you, a lot of people are not talking enough about referrals, right? They're not discussing that. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. Sorry, there we go. So relationships come in all forms. Amber is right. I do coach baseball. That's another basically full-time job that I have. I love it. I grew up playing sports. I'm very team-oriented, as I said. And baseball is one of the things that I do, and I've met a lot of people through baseball. So I coach a travel 10U baseball team, and it is so rewarding because I get to spend a lot of time with my son. He's on the team, and I get to meet tons of parents and different individuals, and I really cherish that time, you know. And so let me ask you this: what are you doing? What are you not doing? Let me rephrase that. What are you not doing that you love to do that you should get back into, right? So, you know, what's a passion that you had that you're like, you know, I haven't done that in years and life got in the way, right? And I think we can all say there's something that you're probably should be doing that you're not doing. And it probably stems from just not having enough time in your schedule. I would argue it's not time in your schedule, it's probably just not scheduled, right? So does anyone have an example of something that they've lost along the way? They just don't do it anymore.
I love to golf, and I haven't done that in years.
Golf? Wow, that's a good one for real estate, isn't it? Golf is great. You can meet so many people that way. So what could we do to get you started?
Turn down the heat.
Go in the morning?
I probably need to buy some clothes.
Okay, so you need to, that'd be your first step, right?
Yeah.
You need to get some clubs? Okay. Yeah, do you usually go by yourself or with a group of people?
Usually go with friends, but it probably would be wise to go as a single.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So up here, I have a picture of a boat. Mike on my team, you know, he loves to boat, so he is out on the water a lot. And what he always does, he fills his boat, you know, with people he knows, and he takes them out. I mean, does anyone in here hate boating? I didn't think so.
No.
He does. You must get seasick.
I just stopped fishing. I was a captain before. I'm
Okay,
still a captain.
that makes sense. So, you know, that's a good strategy for Mike. Mike dropped in, just to put in perspective, Mike dropped into Orlando 3 years ago, not knowing one person. His first year, he sold 40 homes.
Thanks.
On our team. Now, I would like to take credit for that, but I'm not taking any credit for it because Mike's just a great guy. He gets it. He meets a lot of people. He comes from value, and he basically adds value to their life, and then they want to use him for real estate, right? I have another picture up here, networking. You see we're all at the dinner. That's mega camp, I believe, for Keller Williams. Everyone at that table, we became really good friends. Back this morning on my birthday, all those guys texted me first thing this morning and said, happy birthday. Some gave me crazy videos I'm not going to show you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. But great way. What an opportunity in real estate. Our sources go in this order. So number one is agent referrals. Last year, we sold 117 homes from agent referrals, right? So big opportunity within our network, within Keller Williams, and just agents, knowing other agents. Now, out of those 118, I don't remember the exact amount, but not all of them are KW. So we're going to get into that too. But with reviews, what will happen is over time, people will find you online, and other agents from other companies will find you online, and they'll ask you to help their clients when they have people relocating to the area and need, you know, a listing sold in that area, et cetera. The last one, a hairstylist. So, you know, there's a person I know in Tampa that she's known as one of the best colorists, right? And I don't know this because I just know women generally do not cancel their hair appointment, right? Am I right on that? Never. That's what I've heard. That's what I've totally heard that. So, yes. So Abby in Tampa is actually one of my number one. She actually is my number one referral source. Here's what I want you to know. I don't even get my hair cut there. Okay? But I have built a long standing relationship with her, and she has given me 36 closings by just her alone of people she's referred to me, and then we're able to help them buy or sell. So that's the type of opportunities I think that are out there with referrals, and understanding that, you know, and I don't even get my hair cut there. Now, my wife doesn't even get her hair done there. She has at one point. So anyway, just something to think about there. I mean, she's has people in her chair every day, and they're talking about real estate. They're talking about real estate market. They're saying, hey, I have this going on in my life. And she's just like, hey, you should contact Tony. Yeah.
How do you thank her?
Great question. I'm going to get into that. Don't let me forget that. And we'll get to that here a little bit later.
I was thinking that too. You send her under referral?
I do. We're going to, I'm sorry, I keep hitting that. No worries.
A good one.
Yeah. So relationships, you know, you got to figure out what's fun to you, right? And then go out and do it. So I'll give you another example. When I first moved to Tampa, I knew one person. I grew up in Illinois, moved when I graduated college, I moved down chasing the sunshine versus the snow, you know, and basically have been here since 2001. Knew one person, and then I said, hey, I need to start, you know, creating a network. I wasn't in real estate yet, but, you know, just meet new friends and that sort of thing, and left a lot of awesome people in Illinois. And I said, you know, what am I going to do? So I decided to play softball. And I was on a co-ed softball team over the next 2 to 3 years. This is 2005 when I got into real estate. I sold a house. Either they bought with me or sold with me, every person on that team, which was about 12 people at the time. And then I just started thinking like, wow, how powerful is that, right? And it really came down to after games, what do you guys think we did?
Had beers.
We went out, we went to B-Dubs, right? Buffalo Wild Wings, and we would be sitting around and talking shop, talking about the game. And then ultimately someone would say, you know, I'd ask people, what do you do? Right? They'd tell me what they do. And what are they going to say when you ask them what they do?
What do you do?
Every time, right? So instead of saying, hey, do you know someone that wants to buy, sell, invest in real estate? Ask a lot of questions, get to know them, be genuine, be authentic. You know, Craig on my team, which is our lead listing agent, he was in training with me, and he ultimately, after every appointment, we went on 78 appointments in 60 days. After every appointment, I'd ask him, what could we have done better? What would you have done differently? How would we improve? Which, by the way, is probably one of the best tips I'll give you today. Every appointment, I want you thinking, how did that go? When they said this, should I have said this, or should I have said something different, right? Make it about them. You should have different scripts for different people, because it's going to be more effective for them, right? All a script is leading people to great decisions, right? So anyway, Craig's like, Tony, I've got to ask you this. like, what's up, Craig? He's like, do you genuinely care this much about their backgrounds? And I'm like, Craig, I just love talking to people. I love to getting to know people. But one of my favorite questions on a listing appointment is, how'd y'all meet? You know, if it's a couple. And I'll tell you, they never have the same story, ever. And they always kind of get in an argument about it. But at the end of the day, it connects them. It's a good feeling, and it sets the tone off on the right pace for a listing appointment. So, you know, if you're in your strength zone, you're going to be doing something you love. You're actually going to probably do really well, and you're going to enjoy yourself, and you're going to give off good energy, right? Good energy.
I have a question.
Yeah.
On relationships. So what would you say to an agent who sees the value in this? And we know relationships take time to nurture, yet they need some right now business.
Mhm.
Will you get into that later? Or do you want-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can get into that. Yeah, right now, I mean, I'll go into the background of what I did. I mean, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. But I did expired listings first because that was the market of opportunity at the time. And then I went into short sales, and I remember asking my mentor, I said, yeah, I just had the weirdest thing happen. I call him, he's like, well, what happened? I said, they don't have any equity. What I do? He's like, that's weird. I don't know. Like, you need to call the bank. And he's like, what's that department called? He's like, Les Penton's department. And call them and figure out what you need to do. So that was my first short sale. Got all the way to closing, the day before closing. And I got a call from the client. The client's like, hey, I have great news. Like, oh yeah, what is it? They're like, we actually just did a deed in lieu. And the bank took the house back. So I just want to let you know. And I'm like, what does this mean, right? So I call the bank. They're like, yeah, they did a deed in lieu, so you're not going to get paid, and the contract's dead. We're going to take it over and foreclose on it. And when it gets listed, the buyers can buy it. I'm just like, I don't like short sales. But basically what happened in Tampa was one of the worst markets at the time. So I told my mentor, I'm like, I'm going to learn about short sales. And I think it's going to be a really good thing for me to know how to do that. And we were talking before this class, he asked me how I got started teaching. And essentially what happened with that short sales, I was the expert for my area, and people would call and have questions, and I just didn't have time to call them all back. I mean, I was going on 4 appointments a day. It was a mess. I mean, our market was a mess. And so I felt bad because I didn't want to, not call people back. My voicemail was full, all that stuff, right? So then I started doing a class once a month, and where people could come in with their short sale questions. I had a little presentation I do. And then really what happened from there, people were like, I don't want to do short sales. Will you handle it for me? And so I started doing lots of short sales by way of referral too, which was pretty smart. And then I went from that to, I want to be the top listing team in my area. So I fired myself at the time from the buyer side of the business. And I said, I'm going to hit my listing goal every month. And so think of it this way. This is what my coach taught me at the time. I think I was doing about 8 listings a month. This is after the short sale market. There really weren't a lot of short sales. So I'm like, hey, I do 6 or 7. He's like, well, what's your goal? I'm like, gave him the number. And he's like, well, that means you need 11 a month, Tony. I'm like, yeah, well, I think I'm doing pretty good. He's like, no, you're not doing well. It's like, you're coming up 4 short every month. It's like, what's your average commission? At the time, it was probably $1,000. I don't know. It was not good at the time, but anyway, we did the math on it, right? And it was like, okay, for a month, I was not hitting times how many listings, and then I was losing out on $300,000-$400,000 in income because I wasn't hitting my listing goal, right? So when I made a decision not to miss that goal anymore was when my business changed, because I started hitting my listing goal. My buyer's agents, I was feeding them with a lot of past clients and stuff that we'll get into how we did that. But that really was a turning point for our business to jump, because we started getting listings. And when we got listings, we'd sell them, we'd get referrals. And then my buyers team, I was no longer competing with and necessarily taking, certain clients. I just got out of the business on the buyer side. And that really helped me grow.
Were you with Keller Williams this entire time?
2007, I
So
joined
that's
KW.
when you started? back
Correct.
then? Okay.
Yep, good question, 2007. So now I'm gonna get into just a little bit about social media. I am not a social media expert by any means, but I will say that, I think a good formula is to post some about real estate, the majority about personal. So if you think about it, if you like baseball and you see my stuff, you're gonna be like, oh, hey, Tony and I both like baseball, right? Vice versa. So you start building relationships there. This example was Derek Jeter's house in Tampa, really good friend of mine. I wish he was. But, I have talked to him. I mean, he's actually a really nice guy. But this is his house. Tom Brady rented his house. So all I did was go on my IDX on my website, and I posted this house when it was for sale. And I just said, something like, this is one of the top luxury homes in the market that Tom Brady's renting. And then I kid you not, at least 20 people reached out to me, and mostly not in Tampa, but just people I knew. And they're like, I can't believe you're working with Tom Brady. And I'm like, no, I'm not really working with Tom Brady, but I'm gonna let it roll, right? So the bottom line is, like, social media is pretty powerful, right? Some of the reviews you're gonna get, I highly suggest you post about them, put it out there, the 5-star reviews you get, and just share things that you love to do on social media, and good things will happen over time. You have to be consistent, and stay up with it. But we'll do the next slide next. Do y'all have a neighbor ever list with somebody else? That's never happened to me. It's happened to me too, guys. So let me ask you a question. When that's happened, did you really know them? Did you really build a relationship with them? Right? It's happened both ways, right? Well, maybe they had that agent before that was awesome, right? That they appreciated, and they used the same agent again. Bottom line, I just believe that we need to get to know people and not expect everyone to use us that we're not in a relationship with, or maybe not in a deep relationship with. I love Will Ferrell, so this is up there. So I had this happen recently. Okay, really good friend of ours. They believed in hyper local agents, right? So in my neighborhood, she wanted to use me as the buyer specialist. We were like, great. We made that happen. They bought a $1.4 million property and went really smooth. I'm kind of thinking like, well, she's obviously gonna want me to list her house. I mean, I just want her. We did an escalation clause, beat out all the other offers, saved them about, they wanted to pay 1.5. We got it for 1.42. And anyway, I thought I did a good job on it. So I just assumed she's gonna go with me on the list side. Well, she ends up going with a competitor and listed her house, but it was in another city, 30 minutes from where my home was. And I thought to myself, like, that's kind of weird, right? And I thought, well, maybe I did something wrong. You guys have been through that, right? You're like, what happened? And so she told me, she's like, I just believe in hyper local. I've known this other agent for 13 years. She got us the house. We just feel like we need to go through her. She lives 2 houses down. It was all that stuff. I'm like, okay, great. So like, tell me about the house. She said it's, people had it listed at 1.3 or something, and gave me all the details. So then I shot it to my buyer's team. And do you think we sold that house? Yeah. So sometimes, you just need to change the way you look at things. And we were able to bring the buyer on that. We had no competitor. Our client was thrilled because they didn't have to compete. They came in full boat, so made it a win-win, and we were able to sell her house. But Just a example I have of, you know, just to think a little bit differently about stuff at times.
What do you do about, like, I know there's so many different scripts. Is there a script about with like close friends where I just don't want to jeopardize my friendship, you know, we don't want to do business is business and there's all like, because that happened to me recently.
Yeah, I
And I was
mean,
just disappointed, but
yeah, I don't believe that because I've sold so many friends' houses. I think that if your relationship's strong enough, they should go through you, but it's an easy way out as well. I mean, no offense, but that's just my take on it. Because we have done business with so many friends that I think is the easy way to say. I think most of the time it's that person had someone that's loyal, just like my example.
no, they didn't.
Okay, in this case, it didn't. But, you know, it's competitive out there, so there's lots of agents. You just never know. What I would say is, you know, we have had the privilege to work with so many friends. I would just ask you to compare apples to apples.
Yeah.
Can we sit down together and show you? And here's the thing, I'm gonna act like I don't even know you.
Right.
We're gonna treat you just like we would every single client, and you're not gonna get any corners cut or anything. But wouldn't it make sense for you to compare apples to apples? And if they say yes, we're gonna set the appointment up and sit down.
Yeah, they were burned by a friend, so that was.
Well, and that could be the case, right? So you gotta ask why.
Right.
And guys, I got started in real estate because I had a terrible real estate experience. And I thought to myself, like, man, I think I can do this better. At the time, I thought real estate would be easy. Was I wrong on that? So, you know, another thing, you know, now she's in my neighborhood, going back to the story, she's in my neighborhood. So now I'm asking her, is there any vendors you need? Is there anything we can do for you? Do you have any questions about the neighborhood, right? You know, we're going to build that relationship even stronger to turn her into one of our top referral sources. You know, and we're not expecting her to give us business, but that's how it works, right? If you do a good job and you start coming from contribution, they're going to send you business over time. Very influential person. You guys know those people. Everyone's their friend. They talk to everybody. They'll put their neck on the line and they're going to refer you, right? So vendors, that's an easy way to add value to people. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. We got that look down now. He's like, boom. So be a giver, right? So do you all have a network set up? Do you know what I mean by that? Do you have a pressure washer? Do you have a roofer? Do you have, you know, everything you can think of, a GC? If not, I strongly suggest you start building that network now and start figuring that out, because clients kind of expect that at this point. One thing I tell clients, that's one of my other things I would write down, is I want to be your Google, right? So for now on, I want to be your Google. I don't want you to go on Google and type, you know, best whatever. I want you to just contact me. You can always text me. I have my number, right? Text me anytime and I'll get you who you need. We took it a step further on our website. We have a password protected vendor list for all our clients. So then, you know, once they're a client, they have access to that with all our vendors. Okay. There is not a week, I would say there's not a day that doesn't go by that we're not referring vendors, right? So this one sometimes gets a little funky, but I expect business from my vendors. If I give them a lot of business, I set that expectation that I want it to be reciprocal, right? So sometimes it's not. And sometimes you have to have uncomfortable conversations in order to push the business forward. And I'm never afraid to do that if I need to. So the way I would do that is I'd do a lunch and I would sit down. Who wants to role play?
Chaz does.
Chaz, I knew it. So Chaz, you know, I know we've been giving you quite a bit of business from what I understand. How's that been going?
It's been going pretty well. Thank you for sending everyone my.
Yeah, my pleasure. And you're great at what you do. So thanks for taking care of our clients. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
It's my pleasure.
So I have a question. Are we the top referral giver for you? You can use whatever
You're
direction.
one of the top 5.
Okay, good. So I'll tell you straight up, I want to be the number one referral giver to you.
Okay.
That's going to be my goal this year. Okay. So how many more are we getting beat by, would you say?
The margins are small.
Okay. So maybe a couple.
Yeah, a couple.
Okay. Fair enough. Great. So let me ask you, Chaz, who do you refer your real estate business to?
Personally,
If you have a real estate referral, where would you send that?
I send them mostly to you, but I have a few other ones that specialize in the commercial or condominium.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you said mostly to us. Is there an agent that you use personally that you are loyal to, that you typically send your business to?
No, I try to spread it around to all the people that I do business with.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. So for us, just in the past year, we haven't had someone say you were the source of a referral. So I just wanted to check in. Does it get weird? It can get weird.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Remember, we established I'm the top referral source for him. So how do we make it reciprocal? So what I'm going to say is, hey, Chaz, I can appreciate all that. Can I be honest with you?
Sure.
So basically, most people want to talk to a couple agents. So when you refer your other friends that you refer, could you refer us too? Because a lot of
Absolutely.
time they want to interview a couple.
Yeah, I could change my system to that.
Okay, great. That would be awesome. So what I'd love to do is just like I refer you when I do the three-way text. Remember how I do that?
Yeah.
I'd love for you to do that for me. Can we do
Okay.
that?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
I'll
great.
send
So-
out a group text for all my
Awesome.
referrals from now on.
Awesome, man. I'm gonna count on you for a couple in the next 6 months. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I'm gonna put just a little bit of pressure to make that happen. And again, I'm not asking anyone unless I'm giving them a ton of business. I mean, I'm not.
Right.
But is there another person that I can use that's a vendor that's ready for my business that I would be a dream referral for to be a partner with?
I'm sure you should be getting
Generally.
3 anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I was in BNI for forever, 13 years, and that strategy works. I've had that conversation. I got 5 referrals in one day from one person that had to give me a referral in like 2 years. And she was our interior decorator. And we gave her a lot of business.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of business, right? So anyway, I'll just mention that because I think it matters. I think unpaid salespeople should be a great resource for you, and you should be making a difference in their lives. So I always say you got to make a deposit before you make a withdrawal. Right? So you got to be depositing in their life, and they may tell you, hey, listen, my sister is a realtor, and you might not know that, and you're like, oh, didn't know that. And then you can be the second, right? And then even if you're the second, you can still get a couple pieces of business, typically, right?
Right.
So that's just my opinion on that.
Real quick, how do you keep track of it, by the way? What's your quick system for that?
Great question. So every person that calls us, their first question is, how do you find out about our team? Is what we ask. And if they say, we found you on the internet, we're gonna go, was it you that actually did the search? And we're gonna get really detailed. You know, did you use Google? What did you type in? Do you remember? And they appreciate that. They're like, that's kind of weird, you're asking that stuff. And then we'll note it. If, let's say, the spouse is the one that does the research, we're going to note it in the file. And when we go out, we're going to dig deeper right at the beginning and get the source, because we want to know where a business came from. And I'll go over, well, we'll do it now. Every week we do what closed, and we go through every transaction, and it will sound something like this. So this is on our team meetings. We say 123 Main Street closed. Chaz, great job on that one. It sold for 450,000. It looks like the source was an agent referral. And it was Brian from KW in Naperville. And as we do that, our ISA is pulling it up in the system to make sure it's right. And she'll even speak up, hey, that's not correct. They're not with KW. We track if it's a KW agent or not. And then we're going to, sometimes you need something even more specific. So maybe we met at Mega Camp, I'll put a note in there. And this is on a closing spreadsheet that we use, which I can share with you guys. You guys can start using it. It's very simple. It's a Google form. That's what we use. And then we go, did we get a review? And did we get a referral? And that's what we track. And just that alone. So what happens, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but basically when we get to a review and we say, did we get a review? I ask our TC and our agent, and then typically what happens is like, I can't believe they haven't done a review yet. And then they go, I'm going to follow up with it. And then that's when we get all the reviews. So guys, we have 2,200 reviews right now. And it's really just being purposeful after closing to follow up with clients. And if you deliver a 5-star experience, to have that expectation. So we'll get into that script too. That's one of my favorite things to teach on. So we'll talk about the promise and how we do that here in a bit. Be a connector, so I don't know who misspelled that word. Anyway, so be a connector. And, I met a guy last summer and it was at Gary's Mastermind in Austin. And I said, what do you do? And he goes, I create wealth for parents that have college kids going to University of Alabama that want to make money during the time their kids there to pay them back to college. I'm like, oh, that's pretty powerful. I've never heard anyone say that. So it stuck. I'm like, that's my University of Alabama guy, right? So I have a friend and her daughter, she posts on Facebook, my daughter's going to University of Alabama. This is like a couple weeks later. So I reached out to her. She's a lender and we did a lot of business together. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, by chance, are you considering buying a University of Alabama for your daughter? You gonna rent? What's your plan? She's like, well, I'm just gonna rent. So I said, well, I met a guy that in case you want to buy, I think he'd be trustworthy and he could help you get this done if you want. She goes, no, I'm not interested. Well, I still sent the group text, right? I said, hey, Jen, me, so-and-so, if y'all ever decide to buy, I'd go through him. Well, I got a referral check in the mail about 6 months later, and I was trying to figure out where it was. And then I got a text from this lender, and the lender said, hey, thanks so much. She was amazing, by the way. And this property is going to generate a lot of income for me. So thank you for introducing us. So something very simple. Could I have, most people would stop and still not connect them. But I think I said at the time, I'm like, if you have questions about the area, he can help, whatever, right? And then they were able to build a relationship and then ended up buying. Because she decided, I want to see my daughter all the time, probably more than she wants, I would guess. But she's going up there constantly. So it's like, go up and visit. Next slide. Yeah, we talked about this already, so I'm not going to spend any more time on that. You'll see I jump around quite a bit. Talked about 36 closings already. She also referred me a person on my leadership team named Anne-Marie Anderson. She is our director of lead generation. And her broker in Chicago referred me, and my hairdresser or the hairstylist referred me as well. So she's like, that's kind of weird. Like, I feel like I need to call and just, why would two people tell me that, right? So sometimes that's what pushes people over the edge. And she was looking for a job. She was an agent for 5 years in Chicago, a capper, and she was moving to Tampa. She wanted to work, potentially work with us. So we sat down together, we start talking, and she was super worried about knowing the area. She's like, I don't know how I'm gonna show houses, and I don't know Tampa at all. And so I said, well, we have a couple positions open, and we went through what was open, and I said inside sales agent. And she's like, I don't even know what that is. I'm like, anyway, that's what her profile was perfect for. And she's been with me 5 years now in that role, moved to leadership. But that's obviously worth a lot for me to have an awesome person on my team. So it can come from other ways than just business. You asked the question, how do we reward her? So what I'll do is I'll just call and say, hey, next Wednesday, Abby, I would love to provide lunch to you guys. I just wanted to say thanks. What would you all want? Where from? I mean, all the questions, and we just deliver it, and that's it. I don't even go there and you know, because I don't want to be pushy. So I just send it, and we do that, I'd say a couple times a year to clients. And typically, my dad loved to cook for people, so I typically give people food and just send it to them. And we also do, one of my favorite things is, if you're tracking this, you have to be able to track it. But whoever gives us the most business, we do a top 25 referral giver party. And that's for lifetime. So we do lightning games. We've done a lightning game in the past. We've done Top Golf. We've done dinner cruise out of downtown Tampa. But we invite our top 25 clients. By the way, 90% are entrepreneurs. They're not basically corporate America for whatever reason. But I think they understand that referrals matter, right? And I think that once they get it, they're just like, they start sending more and more business, specifically attorneys, you know, hairstylists, you know, different things. But 90% of our top referral givers are entrepreneurs, just like ourselves, and business owners. But that's one of my favorite events. And we'll bring Abby in front of the room and we'll say, hey, Abby is actually, we'll do our top 3. Abby's given us 36 closings. And what happens is everyone goes, I'm going to beat her next year, right? And then they will, and they'll literally tell you that. What do all these people have in common that you invite to this event? Basically, you were their agent. So what happens is they talk and they say, oh, Tony was your agent, you know, the Tony Baroni team was your team, you know, and it just solidifies that relationship even more, right? Typically, an event like that's going to cost me $7,000 to $12,000, depending on what we do. But I also invite my whole team, and they can bring a guest, you know, whether it's their spouse, significant other, whatever. And we just have a great time. And I'll go up and I'll say, hey, Abby, I know we're just serving beer and wine tonight. I know you like Captain and Cokes. So here's $100. Have fun. Well, I don't need $100. Say, just enjoy yourself, you know, and I'll do little things like that, and I serve my clients too. So if I see your drinks, look, Susan, can I get you another drink? And I'm doing that all night. I'm having fun too, but I mean, I'm really, really trying to be, you know, I'll think ahead of time, do I need to introduce Susan to so-and-so because they have this in common, and I'm going to connect them, right? And it just starts to build and build and build. So we haven't done that since COVID, but we're going to bring it back this year. I typically will do this right before Thanksgiving, a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, and have a celebration. Just make sure everyone appreciates it, knows they're appreciated.
Do you ever invite your top vendors?
It's funny you ask. Like for this event, I do not invite vendors at all because I pay for it. It's usually like really capped at 75. So with my team, the top 25, you start doing the math, and then I'm like, I don't want it weird for anyone, so I just take care of it myself on that particular event. And then they want to get up and speak, which is fine, but that's not the vibe I'm trying to set for that event. Right, exactly.
The timing is good because all of those people you're inviting before the holidays are now going to be getting together with groups of family and other people, so you can just kind of spread it out.
Yeah, and I'll typically get in front of the room and I'll just give a tip on something with the market. And I'll just say, hey, thank you all that we can help you if we're here. You know, really just nights for you. Just want to say thank you. Make it short and simple.
I'm going to share it.
Yeah, we don't try to be salesy at all on it. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Okay. So giveaways. So, you know, I know Amber's on here. Amber was one of the first, I think, to do a giveaway. And I remember Jordan, my coach, is like, you should do a giveaway. I'm like, not doing a giveaway. Other people are doing giveaways in my area. That seems boring because I didn't want to do it if other people were doing it. He's like, Tony, you need to get over yourself. Just do it. Try it. See if it works. So I said, sure. Yeah. So I said, sure, I'll try it. So we did our first giveaway.
He meant join the Cool Kids Club.
Yeah. And I joined the Cool Kids. 12 with Amber. Thank you, Amber, for the invite. So we did our first giveaway, and I just want to break it down. Like, it's became a lot more complex over time. But the first one I did a graphic that said Fleming Steakhouse $300 gift card for Valentine's Day. Okay, and then I did like a text with a lot of emojis about, hey, happy Valentine's Day. All you have to do is call in on this day to this phone number. You want to make that phone number where they can hit it and call right in. And I thought to myself, who is not in my database that needs to be in my database? Which is a ton of people. I mean, I was like terrible. I'm like, how are they not in my database, right? And I'm sure that's none of you, but that's how it was for me. So I went through and I spent all day texting one-on-one each person that I wanted to call in, right? And what would happen when I did that, they would call pretty much immediately, most people, that were interested in the giveaway, right? So that first one, we had 147 people call in. My coach called it a reverse bold 100. Anyone that's taken bold, you call 100 people in one day. I've always been like, that's the last thing I want to do. That sounds horrible to me. I'll call 20 a day, but I don't want to call 100 in one day, right? That's just me. So then I started thinking, like, how can we get people to just call us? And that's where it gets really cool, right? So that was kind of the giveaway idea. So that first contest, we were basically, most people were not in our database. They were added to our database when they called in. We were getting all their information, then we're putting them in the database. Now, if you think about it, if you have a team, it's hard to get people in the database because unless you give them your phone, I only have one phone, so I really can't give my phone to my admin all day. And it's hard to get them all in because you have their phone number, you have their name. It's not something you can leverage very easily, if that makes sense, right? So, and then the last contest we just did, we did $1,000 gift card at Clearwater Beach Hyatt Resort, one of my favorite resorts over there. And we had 500, and it's actually 502 people call in that day. Since then, we've added where they can go online and register too. Yeah.
So when they call you, what is the conversation that you have?
You want to role play?
No, I don't like to.
She loves to role play.
I hate to role play, but I like.
Sorry,
to
it's back to you.
Oh, boy.
Thanks for calling the Tony Baroni team giveaway. How can I help you?
Hey,
I'll always say
Tony.
it's Tony too, because they're like, I can't believe you're answering the phone. I'm like, yeah, I answer the phone all day.
Hey, Tony, I'm just calling about the contest.
Oh, great. That's awesome. Let me get you all set up. What is your first and last name?
Charles Elliott.
Awesome. And as he does this is how we do it. We have it within our website and we're putting the form in. Now you could create a Google form, don't make this too complicated. The first time I was writing everything down, honestly, on little slips of paper. Great. So let me ask you, how did you find out about the contest today?
The text you sent me.
Awesome. Great. That's how most people are finding out. Thanks for calling in. What is your address?
537 blah, blah, blah road,
Okay.
Buckle Island.
And your phone number is this, correct?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. What's your best email?
CaptainChaz@iCloud.com.
Okay, so if anyone thinks like, I don't want to give you that. I mean, it's happened maybe 5 times out of thousands of people. And when they do, I would just say, this is required to register for the giveaway because we need to contact the winner, right? And we've had people that have won that we couldn't get a hold of. And what a shame that was. So yeah, we require all this information.
For people who don't have mega teams, you can do that on command and they automatically go into your database.
Yeah, love that tip. That's great.
I have another question. So you texted him, but you don't have, like, how did you know that number to text? Was this just people that are somehow in your phone that you don't even remember how you have their phone number? Is that what that is? Like, I know I have some from like when my daughter was in kindergarten, and I'm like, I don't even remember these people. Is that how you're doing this?
Yes. So we're going to show you in the second an exercise that'll have you think of the memory jogger. Does anyone remember that? It's bold. If you just Google memory jogger, you'll pull up the PDF that says, who's your kid's dentist? Who's your dentist? who's your former teachers.
And so you just get those numbers and text them to.
Mine are typically were in my phone. How I started, I have a lot of people on my phone, and then over time we've built our database. I think we have about 10,000 in our database that we text on a day of a contest. Also, I'll figure out how to give it to you guys, but I have a link, and it's our Realtor Resource Center within our website. And I did a video on this in great detail of all the stuff we do and how we use it. And so that would be, I'm not gonna have enough time today to go over every detail, but we send out a text. This is our newsletter. We strategically dropped this the week before, where it goes, it gets mailed to them. And the front cover has whatever the contest is and the giveaway is going to be. And so our clients look at that, right? And then typically they get the text the day of and they're like, oh, and then they're excited because they're like, I'm glad you guys reminded me to call in, right? And not everyone cares. Here's the other tip. We always tie it to a charity, a local charity. The last one we did with 502, I think it was very successful, not only because of the giveaway, but also we donated to Humane Society of Tampa Bay, which a lot of people are passionate about.
Yeah.
And we do $2 a caller, and we donate to that organization. So we're also making a difference in our community. And we've had some local papers give us free press on that, where they wanted, you know, when we delivered the check to get a photo, and they did an article on us. So just little things that it's kind of added up over time.
You have the gift of your letters, your initials too, TV.
Yeah, we call it the TV buzz, yeah.
Instant, you know.
Yeah, my wife Kelly does the newsletters from front, the whole thing she
It's really
creates.
catchy. Yeah.
But so to finish that script, what we get into, so I'll say, Chaz, so thanks for calling in today. So would you like some extra opportunities to win?
Absolutely.
Okay, most people's answers. So the first thing is, are you on Facebook by chance?
Yes.
Okay, so if you would like to like our page under Tony Baroni Team, Keller Williams Realty, we'll give you an extra chance to win. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Okay, now here's the key. When he says that, I'm gonna say, okay, go ahead and do it and let me know when you're done. Okay, because if not, they'll tell you and they're lying, and they're not gonna do it. Unfortunately, that happened. And then I'll say, great, so that's gonna give you an extra chance to win. The next opportunity we have, if you wanna share the contest on your page, we'll do two extra chances to win. You can make up whatever you want, right? It's your contest. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
That's where it gets cool, because, you know, it starts hitting all his people, and then his people start calling it, right? And so the last opportunity, Chaz, which is the biggest opportunity for extra chances to win. If you happen to know someone that needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, we would love to help them. Is there anyone you can think of? And we're doing 15 extra chances to win for that. Do you know anyone that has real estate needs?
All the time.
Okay, so all we need is their name, number, and permission to call, and we'll give you 15 extra chances. So on our contest, the lowest we've ever gotten, the first one, I don't know if we asked for referrals, to be honest, but now we get anywhere from 10 to 40 people's names, numbers, permission to call during the contest day to follow up with. And sometimes they'll say, well, I can't give you their number without permission. Let me call them. Yeah, we're here all day till 5, so just call us back.
Perfect.
And we'll enter them in. So that's a great way to get referrals. And we've closed a lot of business that way too. And, initially, I think we were thinking like, I don't know if it'll work, but it works really well. So then you have to have a follow-up system after to contact them. If you could do it the same day, I think that's pretty powerful. It's hard to do because we're so busy that day, but pretty cool.
So how do you like get the extra chances to win? I mean, how do you guys keep track of all that? So that
So-
really happened, did you say that?
No, we do it. Initially, we just
Keep entering it in?
we wrote it on paper and threw it in a thing, but now we have everything within a form, and then it drops how many chances to win, and everything's dropped in. Then we take it download the CVS file into Wheel of Names. And then we hit the Wheel of Names and it randomly will pick numbers. So I'll have a friend call and say, hey, Tony, like, can you make sure I win? Dude, I'm not gonna, no.
You know, I enjoy those calls.
So we record it and we do the Wheel of Names, and that's how we do that, right? Just so you guys know. And so that's kind of the gist of it. I will write down and we can put in the chat the Realtor Resource Center, because we have tons of videos on the stuff we're talking about today that go into a lot more detail as well. So like giveaways, the promise, how to build a team, things like that. You can go in there and it's free resources. All right, next slide.
Just a comment, it doesn't really say what you're giving away on your flyer.
Yeah, we've gotten, that was one of the first ones we did. Now it's pretty clear. Also within the Realtor Resource Center is all our newsletters in the past. So if you're wondering how we do that, you can see them all, but I'd say the message is a lot more clear now on what we're giving away. So the winner, right? So that's one thing I handle. We do the video, we post the video, we say, you're the winner. I always personally call the winner and make a huge deal about it. And then I'll ask them to send a picture in so we can prove that we gave it away. And they're usually very appreciative. And that's a guy that we did Bucks tickets and 50-yard line Bucks tickets. Go Bucks. Anyone out there? Anyone? Okay. So some other giveaways, just some ideas in case you're interested in this. One time we did 11 days of giveaways and we did 11. They called all in one day. We didn't do an online version at this point. It was only, you had to call in. And then we did $7,000 worth of prizes. And the biggest one was a Peloton. The smallest one was like a dimmer box speaker and everything in between. So then we had each vendor sponsored each one. And then we co-marketed with them for the contest. So if you're thinking about, hey, how do I get people to sponsor this with me? Think about who has a great database that they could market all your stuff with. Like insurance companies are good because they have good databases typically, right? So that's where it starts getting very strategic, where you can partner with one another and ask them to share it on their social media, and you'll handle all the stuff basically. But we asked them to pay for the price. So that 7,000 we didn't spend $1 on. Typically now, honestly, sometimes I forget to try to get a sponsor. So it's just part of what we do. So I'm not that worried about it, but you can definitely get sponsors and they probably want to be a part of it most of the time. You know, if you do business together, they probably enjoyed that quite a bit. Plus it's not that expensive, right? I mean, I told you my first one was $300. I'd say the sweet spot is about 1,000. That's where you get more activity. We get usually 300 to 600 per contest if we do $1,000 prize or more. I'm trying to think of what all we've done. We've done restaurants, Amazon gift cards, Bucks tickets, fishing charters. That was a really good one. Father's Day, we do Father's Day and Mother's Day. One's a charter. We did the Dyson hair dryer on Mother's Day. Anyway, if you go in our resource center, you'll see everything we've ever done, and it's fun because, you know, I'd say the more you can make it where it's a trip, I guess, or now that COVID, you know, we can actually be out. That's always pretty good for a gift card for $1,000 or something. All right, we'll do the next one. Memory jogger, what we were talking about earlier. So who cuts your grass, landscapers. The whole point of this, guys, is are they in your database? And if you go in online, you'll be able to get the whole document. There's like 2 or 3 pages of this. If you're anything like me, you're probably going to say, I suck and I need to get better at this, right? So spend a weekend and get it done. You know, put everyone in your database. It'll make a big difference. We'll go to the next one. This is where we're talking about, you know, tie it to a charity. And we do $2 to $5, just depends on the contest. And we'll always tie it to that charity. That's the article that local paper, one of the articles that the local paper did on us about that specifically. And that was cool. They called and they're like, would you be open to doing an article on this? We've heard you're doing good things in the community. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. You know. Next slide. KW Cares, you know, it's a way you can do it on your green sheets, I'm sure, and within this office. All right, so all I did, guys, the only reason I have this here, in 2007, my MCA came to me and said, hey, if you want to do a per transaction, we'd love for you to do that. And I said, okay, I'll do 25 bucks, I think at the time, or 50 bucks. And a couple of years ago, we were like #4 in the country for Keller Williams, just based on that alone. We gave a couple other big donations, but KW Cares does awesome things, but I'm sure your market will love that, right, Amber? Both markets. Yeah, and KW Cares does amazing stuff. So we'll do next slide. Okay, the promise. Has anyone heard of the promise in here? A few of you, okay. So this is what we do. We basically, we set the tone from day one when we meet people, how we would like our relationship to go, right? So the first thing we do is we're going to set the expectation that we're going to deliver a 5-star experience, okay? The second, and then after we get an agreement that they would enjoy that experience if we're able to deliver it, we say we're going to give them the best real estate experience, is how we say it. And then we're going to get an agreement. One, we have delivered that, we're going to expect a review, okay, at the end. And then the second thing we ask for is we want to earn a referral from them sometime between the day we met and closing, right? So this is the first thing we talk about when we meet our clients, when we're on an appointment, and it kind of sets that tone up for we're gonna do our part, and we're gonna ask you to do your part, you know, in short. So who wants to role play this? I think it comes across a little bit. Oh yeah, she does. I could see she put both hands up. So we're gonna stage it like a listing appointment. Okay. And I'm gonna act like I'm knocking on her door, right? And we're gonna go to the table. So hello. So my name's Tony, and I understand we had a 1 o'clock appointment, and just thank you for having me today. Appreciate that. So we're gonna go to the kitchen table. I don't go to couches. It's weird. I do not like presenting on couches. Do you guys ever have that? It's really weird to me. So we're gonna go to the table and we're gonna talk about it. And I'm gonna confirm, we're gonna start breaking down how she found out about us, right? So now we do a 2-page seller questionnaire, which we can share with you all, that before we go on the appointment, we're getting questions answered. And then I'm going to confirm that appointment as the listing agent. You know, I'm going to confirm sources. So what's your first name?
Kristen.
Kristen. So Kristen, I see that you found this online. Is that correct? Awesome. That is so exciting. I love that because there's so many agents. You know, there's 280,000 agents in the state of Florida.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
No, that's hard to believe.
Yeah. So for me to be sitting here right now is quite the pleasure. So I really appreciate you reaching out. Thank you for your time today. That means a lot to me.
Thanks for coming back.
No problem. No problem. So is it okay if I share with what we're all about as a team?
Please do.
So I'm going to go right into it. So what we're all about is something we call the promise. So Kristen, the promise to us means that we're going to give you the best real estate experience you could ever imagine receiving.
Wow, that's a pretty lofty goal.
It is. It is. So that is our goal. That's what we want to do. And if we're able to do that, how would that make you feel?
Fantastic.
Good. Awesome. That's what most clients say. So there's 2 things we ask from you, Kristen. Can we go over those if we're able to deliver the promise to you? So the first thing we want is we want to get feedback. Okay, we want to know how we did. We wouldn't know how we did without getting that feedback. So we want to get a review from you on 7 key websites at the end of this. Would that be okay?
Like kind of a pain, to be honest.
Yeah? So you don't want to do 7? How many would you want to do?
3.
3, okay, that sounds fair. Let's do 3, okay, perfect. Now remember, none of this happens unless we deliver this amazing experience. It has to be the best experience. So I appreciate you agreeing to do that.
Sure.
So the second thing is we really want to earn a referral from you sometime between today and closing with someone else that has real estate needs that we can serve.
Which I don't know anybody.
Oh, if you don't know anyone, we understand that, but I guarantee you'll run into some people between now and closing of that need our service, because it happens almost every time.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, perfect. So, great. So we're in agreement there. So we're going to give you the best experience. You're going to do a review on 3 websites. I'm hoping to get you to 7 by the end of this. And then we hope to earn a referral from you. And if not, it's not the end of the world, but that's just some metrics we follow on our end to make sure we're doing an amazing job. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, can I tell you what the promise is not?
Sure.
Okay, so the promise is not that everything will actually be perfect, because there's this thing called human beings in real estate and things happen.
Yeah.
There's other parties. I mean, it gets crazy at times, but here's the thing. When those things happen and things get sideways, we're going to be right here every step of the way to get you from now to closing and make it as smooth as possible. It actually is where we stand out the most through the challenges because of our experience, and we're going to help you get through that together. Okay, so just want to make sure you understand that. So let's talk about marketing. Right, so we're going to go from there to marketing, but that's really the expectation we're setting from day one. Now, is it the end of the world if they don't give me a referral?
No.
No, not at all, right? And what if they don't do a review?
They'll get a reminder from your assistant.
Yeah, I mean, it's our job to really follow up to get that. I believe if you deliver a 5-star service, they will do that. There's some exceptions. Have you guys ever had a crazy client? You guys haven't? Me either. Is it okay to not ask for a review if you find out Kristen's kind of crazy? I'm not going to ask her for a review. Then you just kind of stop talking about it, right? But yeah, I thought that was only me. I'm glad other people have experienced that too. So that's all we're doing. We're setting that up. We're setting expectations. We're measuring it, right? So there's 8 times in the transaction that we're going to be touching base about the promise and doing check-ins is what I call check-ins, right? So a couple that are really good is going to be when the home inspection, when you figure that out, think of the successes along the way. Hey, I know you were really worried, Kristen. I wanted to call you today and let you know that I know how worried you were about the inspections.
Yeah, it's stressful.
It always is. So we are past that hurdle. Yep. So I want to give you the good news. So we're good to go with inspections.
Awesome.
So the second thing I wanted to do a check-in on a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest. How would you rate that I'm delivering the promise to you so far?
5.
Awesome. Now, let's say she says a 3. I'm going to say, what would make it a 5? What can we do to improve, right? And that feedback is critical, right? Now, if you're at inspection, or you're at appraisal, or wherever you're in the process, you have time to fix it, right? But the thing is, we're all agents, and we think everyone loves us because it's our personalities generally, right? And the reality is, maybe she's not happy, or maybe she's mad at the title company, maybe she's mad at the lender. The biggest thing when we ask that, if they give us less than a 5, it's the lender and title, to be honest. So then I get on it and I get it fixed, and I say, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the title company and make sure they understand you're not happy with the communication. So Kristen, let me ask you this. What would you like the communication to look like? Is that a daily thing? Is that a weekly
I mean,
thing?
daily, but I just feel like there hasn't been any communication at all, and I have no idea what's going on.
Makes sense. So we're going to make sure this gets fixed. I'm going to call them right now. I'll report back.
Okay, thank you.
So you're saying weekly or anytime there's something that needs to you need to be updated on.
Absolutely.
Okay, Fair enough. That seems fair to me, right? And when you call the tile company and they start belly aching, we're, you know, like, I can't believe that, like, we talk to our clients like daily, right? So you can talk to them for each update, right? But if you're not checking in, you don't know, right? That's the point. So when she says 5, I'm then gonna go, oh, great. So are you willing to do that review now? So I'm gonna start planting that seed. Now, some people won't do that until it's closest, which is fine. But I'll tell you, she might not ever be happier than that moment, to be honest, because something will go sideways at some point. Something will go sideways. And then once you get to closing, they're busy and they don't have time, right? So that's where it becomes really vital that you follow up that 2 weeks to a month. Do you guys attend your closings in person? Yeah, most of you? Okay. So here's what I do at closing. So Kristen, we made it. What a journey it's been.
That was a lot.
Thank you for your patience. I really appreciate everything. And I've got to ask you the question. I think you know what I'm going to ask. On a scale from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, did we deliver the promise?
Absolutely, 100%.
Awesome. Thank you. That means the world to me. That's our goal. Now, do you remember our conversation when we first met?
Yes, I'm supposed to give you a 5-star review and a referral.
I think we agreed for 3 5-star.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just-
3. Okay, well, you've been so good. I'll up it to 5.
You probably want to do 7 now, don't you?
All right, I'll do 7.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you fulfilling that on your end. I'm going to send it to you right now. It's one URL where you can do all the reviews in one place.
Oh, perfect.
So would you like me to text that to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can
I'll
do
text
it
it.
while we're waiting to get the cash in hand.
Perfect. So I'm going to actually set a follow-up in 2 weeks just to make sure you got that, and then check in to see if you guys need anything.
Okay, sounds good.
So when I say that, that's when they're like, he's going to follow up. And here's the key, you got to follow up, right? So then I'm going to go into, is there any vendors you need?
Maybe like a long guy.
Okay, perfect. So then I'm going to connect them 3-way text, right? And then I'm going to say, you know, Kristen, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see that we actually compelled you to send us a referral sometime between when we met now. Do we have that accurate or not?
No, I just don't know anybody that's looking by yourself.
Which is fine. No big deal. We track that on our end just because we want to know how we did. So let's do an extension on that for like the next 6 months to a year. Would that be okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, because on average, you're going to meet 7 new people that have real estate needs in the next 12 months.
Really?
7 people.
Wow, that's crazy.
So we're not asking for 7 referrals. We're just asking for 1. So if we could work that out, that would be a
So if I
fantastic.
get 7, I'll give you 7 from you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And typically that's really how most people are if you do a great job. Except the crazy ones. Sometimes, you know, you just have to look at it as how do you get better every day. It's bottom line. I mean, me and Kristen our personalities don't match perfectly, and that's okay too, or whatever the case may be, but try to get better, right? And they'll do the review for you. And if you're checking in, they'll do the review at a minimum. Yeah.
You said that you send them to one page, one URL page that they
Yeah.
can do all reviews.
I'm going to show you that. It's coming up. Great question. Oh yeah, get an extension. You get an extension.
Great.
3-way text, right? So this is me introducing Mike, Malcolm, and for a referral, but just an example of a 3-way text. I always, you know, so-and-so meets so-and-so. Just want to give a background on them. They're the best. You know, I'll let you guys take it from here. At closing, okay, as I send her that referral for the landscaper and mowing lawns, what I'm really doing, guys, is I'm helping her and I'm training her when she has a referral from me, how to send it back, right? Because it does work that way. People will do that for you. I would not be here today and I would be in my private island in the Caribbean. Yes, the Caribbean. If I got every referral everyone told me that they gave me. that I never got. So the three-way text allows you to actually have control to contact them, right? And actually have conversations. So I really think the three-way text is one of the smartest things we've ever done in our business. So can't emphasize that enough. Reviews, so we want to review 70% of the time for our clients. And as I said, the portions in the follow-up. So typically we'll get the review 2 weeks to 30 days after closing. So we get to 2 weeks, Chris still hasn't done the review. I'm furious. So I'm gonna call her, hey, Kristen, just wanted to touch base. How's everything going?
Not good.
Why?
That lung guy you sent me is terrible.
Oh, I don't know him. It must have been a different guy. I'll literally say, I just joke around, try to.
He never showed up, he never got back to me.
He is fired. I am never using him again. I'm sorry that happened. Do you need another one? Or you probably don't trust me anymore, do you?
No, I trust you, I'm just not happy with this guy.
I'm sorry that happened. So if you want me to, I will give you another one or not.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me connect you guys. Sorry that didn't work out. That does happen, right?
So you're not gonna go over on.
Yeah, right. So anything else you need from me since you moved in? Is there any other vendors you would need? Good vendors that you need?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, perfect. So, hey, I just wanted to double check. I know you're crazy busy. Probably the last thing on your mind is to do a review for Tony. But I wanted to follow up and ask you, are you gonna get a chance to do that in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'll do it this weekend. I'm still unpacking and you know how it is. It's been
Okay.
crazy.
I get it. I know it's crazy. So thanks for your fulfillment of that. We really appreciate it. I'm gonna follow up with you in a couple more weeks, just check. And that's when they do it, because they're like, hi, God, she's gonna follow up. Yeah.
I don't want another call.
So maybe that's what I need to do, but what I have a client that just purchased a house. They're happy with it. They seem, every time I ask, everything's been great. They're happy with all the vendors that I've sent them so far. And I've sent the reviews all probably not what you're doing, but like it's multiple links but in one email.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I'll do it for you. She didn't do it. So I checked in. And she's like, well, you have like on Google, you have to be you have to have an account. And she's like, I don't have an account. So, but yeah, send it again. I'll do it.
Yeah,
How do you get them to actually do it?
I mean,
Is there one that
if you're able
you
to
don't-
do it at closing, like, let's say they struggle with technology, you can help them.
Can
And
you just have them write one, like on an email, and then you put it into something? Like, I know on Realtor you can, but I think Realtor.com, but yeah, I mean, it's just like, she's like, I don't want to have to set up an account.
so if they have a Gmail account already, it's the easiest, right? Because then they're gonna, so I'm just gonna go for Google after 2 to 3 weeks. I'm just gonna say, hey, will you do it on Google? Because you have a Gmail account, it'll take you 2 seconds
Okay.
to do that. Zillow, you have to have your own profile set up. Realtor is pretty easy, if I remember right. If they don't use Yelp, I wouldn't have them do Yelp. But if they use Yelp, it's great, for that reason. Angie's List, since they sold, I don't think it's been as good. It was pretty good at one point, but not any longer. So anyway, I think one of the next pages is going to show you what we focus on. Oh, wait, well, let's get into this first. Let me see here. I'm trying to remember what this one's about. Refer to buyer. Oh, I had a client last summer. We actually bought her house as an investment and we paid full price. No, didn't beat her up on inspections. I mean, it couldn't be cleaner. She was then able to go buy in Pennsylvania what she wanted to do. So kind of solved their issue there. And she's one of these people, when I went through everything and I said about reviews, she's like, I've never done a review in my life. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Are you not going to do one for me? And we knew each other. And she's like, well, I'm not big on reviews. I'm like, well, I'm going to try to do such an amazing job. You want to do a review for me? And she's like, oh, okay, sounds good, right? Well, we did this, everything went smooth. I followed up with her. She bought in Pennsylvania. I referred her to it. She was struggling up there, referred her an agent. I mean, I couldn't have done more. I mean, I bought her house, got her a house, got her the agent. And I was like, I can't believe she doesn't get me a review, right? So she, her name's Kathy, and I called Kathy, followed up several times. Every time she's like, I am so sorry. Like, I just haven't had a chance, but I'm gonna text it to you now, right? Well, she calls me and she's like, Tony, I had a package delivered at your old house, which we turned into a rental. And she's like, would you pick it up for me and mail it to me? And I said, would this cause you to give me a 5-star review? And she started laughing. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she did the review right then. But just a good example. I've had people tap me on the shoulder at restaurants multiple times and apologize. I didn't know who they were, and they apologized to me that they didn't do a review yet. So, you know, do you want to be annoying about it? No. But do you want to make sure you're given a good service? By the way, the reason I created this was simply because I built a team. I wanted to know that we're delivering a great service, and I wanted to be able to fix any issues that we were having, right? So the metric for me is online reviews on how we're doing. This URL is all in one place. All the websites are one place. You can read them all. You can write them all. Part of our value proposition is not going to be me talking about myself. It's going to be me talking about our reviews, right? You know, we've had, Chris, I don't know if you know this, we've had about 2,300 5-star reviews. So maybe that's how you found us online.
It is.
Great. So obviously you read some of those, correct? Perfect. So now I know I don't even need to really probably sell myself a lot, because that can work the opposite way, right? If you're, well, Tony's bragging on himself and they don't use you, right? So I just go to, you know, read our reviews. Some people say, I don't read reviews, right? There's very few people that don't read reviews anymore. So let me ask you this. If you're making an expensive purchase, are you going to read reviews?
Yeah.
Always.
Yes, absolutely. So why would your clients be any different, right? So do you ever read any negative reviews?
Oh, yeah.
That's the first ones you read, right?
Yeah.
So let's get into that. I'm going to show you guys a tool too on this page. We're coming out with where we create that page for you and our whole system to help you get more reviews, right? So we don't have it today, but at the end, we have a QR code. If you scan it, you'll be the first to find out. We'll invite you to a webinar, go over all the details, and you guys decide if you want to do it. Now, if you want to do it yourself, awesome, do it yourself. But I think what we're going to deliver makes it super simple, right? So how to respond to bad reviews. You know, I thought of this one recently where, not recently, it's like 6-7 years ago. My client, 5 offers, I'm the represent the seller, and 5 offers, 1 over asking price, 1 cash full price, 1 just under, 1 20,000 under, and then 1 50,000 under, right? What do you think my seller did? Did she counter? She just accepted, right? I think it was the cash for about full price or slightly over is what she decided. Well, we get blown up with a bad review. It's the agent, it's not the agent, it's the buyers that didn't get the house, and they're mad, and they said something like, we're dishonest, don't know how to negotiate, and something like that, just a bunch of nonsense. And so I started researching, I referenced her name. Usually people, by the way, that do this, if you research them, they do bad reviews all forever. It's just what they do, right? So anyway, I replied and I went through every detail, and I went through, we had 5 offers, 1 of this, 1 of this, 1 of this, 1 of this. I think where this went wrong for you is you assumed we're going to go highest and the seller chose not to. I believe we actually negotiated very well on this because we sold it for over asking price. We wish you the best on your home search. So anyway, a lot of clients will mention that review. They're like, that's so funny how you replied to that, right? Because it was professional, but it's the truth, right? Like, what's the truth? So you have to stop what you're doing, research what actually happened. You know, if you have a team, that's a little more complicated than yourself sometimes. And then you have to find out how to fix it. Did we mess up? If you did, you have to own it, right? Say, we screwed that up, right? But how you reply to that matters, really, really important. In every review, you should respond to, right? So you want to reply to each review. It helps with your Google juice. And the bad reviews, you definitely need to respond to professionally, right? All right.
What about asking her for her business? What about asking if you're still looking for a home?
Yeah, yeah, we chose not to want to work with her, but that's where we do a check-in. Yeah, you could.
You know, I mean, unless she's bound to this other agent for 6 months or something, but I mean.
That's true. Yeah,
There's an opportunity.
you can definitely, say, hey,
Well, you did a good job for somebody, now maybe you can do it for her too.
correct. Yeah, you can totally do that. Now on the weekly, I already went through this, but this is where we do a check-in. Congrats on the sale. We go through our team meeting and we ask everyone, did you get a review? Referral triggers everyone to, oh, I need to follow up on that, right? So next slide. This is where I was talking about earlier. So, what I did today is really give you kind of the recipe. You can go create whatever. Number 2 of that would be HelloFresh. I'm sending you the ingredients and then you're going to make the actual meal. And then we don't even have the option for 2. We decided to not do that. The number 3 is really the Grubhub, hey, you just want it delivered to you where you can plug and play, right? So the next slide, we have the QR code. So, and we have the Realtor resource links on there as well. But if you scan it, it takes you to Realtor resources. You'll create a profile. It's free to do so. And then if y'all want to come to that webinar when we do it, you can, and we'll go through all the details. Our first product's going to be reviews, and you're going to get a URL page. And it's not just a URL page, it's our whole system, the 8 touches we do, how to track it. We're also going to give you an online reputation report where you basically will do a evaluation on how you do online overall, what you can do to improve.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Okay, can you guys try the website?
Sure.
Let me see if it's, that's great. So I just did this last week.
Okay, now we're on the internet.
Says the URL can't be shown.
Well, I apologize. We can send it out.
You have 5-star review for your.
If you send it to me, I'll get it out to everyone.
But below, if you type in that should work, the Realtor resources. That's another way to get it.
Yeah, the Realtor resource works.
Does it? Okay.
There, log right in, great.
Will you send that out to the class?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. And so anyway, if you guys have interest in that, great. If you don't, that's fine too. But what happened is I've been teaching this so much that people go, oh, that's cool. I want to do my website like that. And then they go, who do you use for that? Well, the guy's name is Kevin and he works with us and he can't get all the stuff done just for us. So I went to him and I said, we need to make this scalable so we're able to help more people. And he's like, great. So we've been working on that for about 9 months and our company is going to be called RE3 and we're going to have a lot of other products for technology. It has our systems, but it also has tech involved where it kind of merges where you guys can plug and play if you choose to. And what's the next slide? Any questions? Yeah.
So how much time do you spend in production if you do, and how much time do you spend managing the team and the process?
Yeah, so I don't do a lot of production at all anymore. I did 100+ homes for I don't know how many years, 10 years, and then I replaced myself with a listing agent. He's been with me about 5 years. So I've been, besides a handful of transactions per year, last year I think I did 3. he's doing most of that on the list side because he replaced me. But then I am creating more opportunities for our team and just building it better. So I'm very involved with our business, just not in production. So I'm typically one of my ISAs, by the way, because what happens, people call me for referrals, and then I assign it, get it set up, and send it to the agent I assign it to.
I just want to make a point, so that no one's confused. You're lead generating still.
Oh, big time, yeah.
He just stopped working. He's still lead generating. for-
Yeah, I mean, I'm lead generating right now, right? I mean,
Just to be clear,
yeah,
Yeah, every day.
every day.
yeah, and I'm absolutely, and you know, making it rain, I called this class Making It Rain because I believe that I, as a team leader, when people join my team, I need to make it rain because people want leads. That's what they want. I mean, they want systems, they want support, they want all that, but they really want leads too. So we've just decided we're going to try our best to create a lot of leads and a lot of business, and then other people can jump in and work with us. So I know Amber and I are talking about hiring in this area as well in the future. So just so y'all know if there's interest there as well. But lead generation, and most of our lead generation is lead follow-up. So most agents on our team are doing lead follow-up on leads. Maybe they can get a hold of them the first time, or they've met with them and then they flaked out, and then all of a sudden they'll resurface, right? We think that they don't like us. Oh, maybe they don't like me, and then they'll say, yeah, I'm ready now.
Or they don't leave you a review and then they'll send you 10 referrals that just call you directly.
Yeah,
It's the, yeah.
it is.
I'm a massage therapist and.
Oh, yeah.
And I honestly, when you had said, just treat them like they're your only person.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever done in 16 years. And I've worked with the NFL for 15. And then I decided I hate the snow and we're out of here. So now we moved here and I started school for real estate on Monday and he already got his. So I'm excited to get to be in it.
Yeah, congratulations.
But I've never done anything special for any of my clients.
Yeah.
Nothing. I just spend a little extra time on them.
Yeah.
If you want a 1 hour or 90 minute, you get that. And sometimes you spend a couple extra minutes. I don't charge for it.
Well, people, you know, I got a massage this morning, and they gave me some, I don't know what, some treatment extra, and she made a point. She's new on the report. It was my birthday. She's like, hey, for your birthday, I'm doing this. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. So it went a long way, right? So, but people don't care what you know. They want to know that you care, right? So
Yeah.
true. Yeah. So
Yeah.
true. So true.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Any ahas? This is where you make up something and just to make me feel good on my birthday, you know? Any ahas at all?
Oh, yeah. I wrote down another question.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Where's that, how, do you have that link from where they can do one review and it propagates out?
Like a link tree?
I don't know, or is there a place to do it?
You mean the one we have built?
Oh, you built it yourself? Oh,
Yeah,
don't
so-
take our word for it, is that what that screen was?
It is. So on our website, if you look at tonybaroni.com, and then there's a review button at the top, you hit reviews. That URL is what we send to everybody.
And then you go out to the 7 realtor.com, Zillow.com.
Yeah, if we can scroll back, I can show them.
So you have to have accounts on each of those 7.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I've never heard of that.
So we used to do an email, which was like ridiculously long, and people would look at it and they're like, I'm not reading all the
Right.
right. So now you can read all the reviews here, and then you can write all the reviews at the bottom. Does that make sense? So it's all in one place. And then we track how many we have. We have 2,181 5-star reviews now. And that is part of our marketing on our website.
So you're saying all the reviews come into you, but you don't have one link that somebody could click on and it propagates out at one time?
No, this is the one link I'm referencing. It's on our,
But do they have to write it for each thing, or
They do.
write it one time? Okay.
but they copy and paste it. Yeah, who said that? Yeah, if you ask them to copy and paste each one. And another thing with reviews, you know, if they bought a waterfront property and you want to review, say, hey, do you mind mentioning it's a waterfront property? I think that'd be good in the review. Hey, you know what stands out to me is how we were able to negotiate 100,000 off this price, not in this market. That's the old review.
Right.
But you know, you can always, and they'll do stuff like, and they're more apt to do it too. If you say a specific, you kind of recap at closing, like what happened, they'll probably be more apt to do it as well. But sometimes they don't even know. They just think, you know, I got what I wanted. Well, they don't realize all the hoops you jump through and stuff. So everyone knows, right? Yes, it's exhausting being an agent, right? Any other ahas or questions?
I like that you did the, like the group intro instead of like, whenever I have a, you know, person to give to a vendor, I usually just send them their contact info, but I
Yep.
think being the connector, and that's a great idea.
Well, and then you don't get credit, right? And then most likely they're never gonna call them either. So,
Yeah, it gets it done right on the spot there.
yeah, it does.
In coaching, we're constantly making the point about relationships. They matter. Sometimes we get so caught up, oh, leads, relationships. And look how big you can grow it just through relationships. And I think the big thing for me was just going back to having fun. Like, what is it, golf that you gave up? Well, what did you give up? You used to enjoy doing. Let's get back to the act. That's a great lead generation tool.
Yeah, my buddy in Nashville, he joined a country club. And he doesn't have a pool at his house, so he takes his kid to the country club. Well, you know, the Tennessee Titans, I mean, he's in Nashville, country stars. I mean, he meets a lot of people, does a lot of business for luxury at that country club, right? So that'd be another example that's not even a hobby. You're just meeting more people and being purposeful about meeting more people. And he's expanding his network every day. So just makes it very, very simple. Now, let me ask you a question. Referrals, how much do they cost? How much competition do you have?
A lot.
Okay, you typically, if someone refers you, you're not in competition yet. Because they haven't, no one else knows that they're looking to buy or sell. So it is just the best opportunity to make, you know, you don't have to pay anything for it. Do they know, like, and trust you?
Yeah.
So there's a great book called 7 Levels of Communication with Michael J. Mayer. He's a good friend of mine. That is an awesome book. Like, if you really want to take this to a whole nother level, that book is really powerful.
Not only,
7 Levels of Communication.
so not only are you not in a lot of competition, rarely are they the ones that are challenging our commissions either.
That's true.
I rarely get them challenge us.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's correct. Well, thanks for listening. I went over. Thanks for coming today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
Everybody on Zoom, help me out. I'm gonna embarrass you for home, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Can you guys all help me and sing him happy birthday? And then have a slice of cake with me. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday.
Birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you. Happy birthday.
Birthday to Tony. Happy birthday to you.
Whoop, whoop.
Have some cake though.
Yeah.
Have some cake. We'll even let you
Yeah.
cut it, smoke. it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys all online. Thank you.
I will.